Coming to you from Annapolis, Maryland, home of the U.S. Naval Academy, the sailing capital of the world, home of the world's largest crab feast, and 4 signers of the Declaration of Independence. This is the Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief, a daily roundup of local news that you can use, including local sports, local events, local opinion, and local weather from DMV Weather. Now here's your host, publisher of Eye on Annapolis, John Frenaye.
Good morning. It's Thursday, May 31st, the final day of May 2018. This is John Frenaye, and this is your Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief. Over across the bridge in Queen Anne's County, prosecutors have charged 5 teenagers with false imprisonment and second-degree assault. And this, you'll recall, is a result of a hazing incident that happened last month at Kent Island High School. The junior varsity lacrosse team was involved, and their season was canceled after a video leaked onto social media showing several members of the team holding another student down while rubbing their buttocks and genitals in his face. They have been charged as juveniles. The names have not been released, and it will be handled by the juvenile courts. County Executive Steve Schuh has made parents at Edgewater, Tyler Heights, and Richard Henry Lee elementary schools very happy. He has released a supplemental budget which can start construction and renovations of the schools as early as this summer and moving up the final completion until 2020. This supplemental budget request goes into the full county council on June 8th. And speaking of finance stuff, Annapolis City held a meeting at Maryland Hall last night to discuss the upcoming budget that Mayor Buckley is proposing. He is proposing a $120 million budget, which is a record, which does include a 13-cent or roughly 20% property tax increase. Now, the Finance Committee, which consists of Alderwoman Sheila Finlayson, Alderman Ross Arnett, and Alderman Mark Rodriguez, were on hand along with the mayor to answer residents' questions. And the main question that's been asked by most of the residents is, why are we not looking for ways to cut expenses before we increase taxes? The mayor did address the crowd and said that he proposes cuts to take-home cars for non-public safety personnel, privatizing payroll services, and working with private partners for recreation programs to cut the budget. The Finance Committee has reported that they are suggesting $137,000 in departmental cuts, but has included $80,000 for an assistant city manager position and an additional $30,000 for a community survey. So I'm not sure how you can say that I'm cutting $137,000 when you're putting in $110 back in. Seems like a $20,000 cut, which is a drop in the bucket into a $120 million budget. In other Annapolis news, there are going to be some significant road closures that you want to know about starting today. Gorman Street, which is the little street that runs from Main Street, wraps around behind Jimmy John's, and comes out on Conduit Street. That will be closed from 9 to 4 p.m. starting this morning for approximately a week while they do some water line upgrades. This will necessitate the closing of the Hillman Garage entrance that's on Gorman Street. The exit still will be maintained, but if you need to get into Hillman Garage, you're going to need to do it off of Duke of Gloucester Street. Up at West Street and Amos Garrett Boulevard, right there by the West End, they are painting crosswalks, and it is a project between Art in Public Places, Art at Large, and the school system. And if you haven't seen them yet, go take a look at them. They're really very cool, but they do have some more work to do. Tomorrow and Friday, West Street will be closed from 4 to 6:30 a.m. Detour signs will be in place, and emergency vehicles will be able to pass, but if you're just a regular vehicle, don't count on it. Amos Garrett Boulevard at the same intersection will be closed from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. today and tomorrow as well, so they can paint the crosswalks on Amos Garrett Boulevard. Again, detour signs will be in place. Additionally, Newman Street downtown will be closed today and tomorrow from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. to install a sewer manhole. The FBI has a word of warning for you. If you have a wireless internet router in your home, you need to turn it off and turn it back on, or otherwise power cycle it or reset it. The FBI is urging all households and businesses to do the simple reboot to avoid being compromised by Russian-linked cyber attackers. The attackers are using a VPN filter malware to gain access to consumer routers and making them inoperable. A public service announcement from the FBI warns, quote, "The malware can potentially also collect information passing through the router. Detection and analysis of the malware's network activity is complicated by its use of encryption and misattributable networks. The VPN filter malware can affect routers made by Linksys, Mikrotik, and Netgear. The fix is as easy as turning it off and back on. If that doesn't work, it should be reset and wiped clean. Capital One is so excited about the Washington Capitals' play in the Stanley Cup that the company has temporarily changed its logo to mimic the team's. Capital One Financial Corp recently assumed the naming rights of the Capital One Arena in downtown Washington, D.C., and they have replaced their italic capital in their logo, the word, with the Capital logo with the hockey stick and the puck. Kind of cool. And just after 11 o'clock last night, the Washington Capitals tied up the Stanley Cup Series with the Vegas Golden Knights, 1-1. That will give Washington an excuse to party when Game 3 comes here on Saturday. That's it for today's top stories. Make sure you're checking out eyeonannapolis.net because we do update that consistently throughout the day. It is Thursday. Hang tight. We've got Trevor with the Annapolis Makerspace Makers Minutes. And of course, we have George Young with your local DMV weather forecast coming right up after Sean O'Neill with RBC Wealth Management.
I'm Sean O'Neill, your local RBC Wealth Management Advisor. More than likely, the primary reason you save and invest is to achieve your life goals while ensuring your long-term financial well-being. But before you can determine your preparedness towards your goals, you need long-term answers to important questions about how much money you need, where it will come from, and how long it will last. RBC Wealth Plan, a new industry-leading tool, is now available to help answer these questions and develop your personal plan using a conversational approach. With RBC Wealth Plan, we can create a personal analysis based on these unique goals while offering you the ability to weigh certain decisions and determine what's best for you and your family. Call me, Sean O'Neill, today at 410-573-6723 for a complimentary consultation.
RBC Wealth Management, a division of RBC Capital Markets, LLC. Member NYSE, FINRA, and SIPC. This is Maryland. The weather can be nearly unpredictable. We've got George Young from DMV Weather in Annapolis to sort it all out.
Well, as you probably can tell, this is not George Young with DMV Weather. This is John Frenaye with Eye on Annapolis, and I am going to bring you your weather today because the last time we heard from George, he was stuck in some sort of a Microsoft hell with a Windows update. We all know how that can go. Hopefully he can get out of that mess before November. Anyhow, for today, May 31st, it is going to be mostly cloudy with a slight chance of rain with a high of 81. Currently, it's about 68 degrees, and that is right now at about 7 a.m. Tomorrow is going to be a little bit more warm, a little bit more humid with a high of 86. And Friday night and the weekend looks to be getting a little bit dicey with a strong chance of thunderstorms coming in both Friday night and Saturday as well. It does look to be a pretty soggy weekend with rain continuing on Sunday. And long range, it looks pretty decent. The rain probability drops off next week as well as the temperatures. This is John Frenaye hacking away at your weather. George Young from DMV Weather will be back tomorrow. So take what I said with a grain of salt. And if you want the real deal, head on over to DMV Weather and check it out there.
'Tis the season, prom season, school dances, after parties, barbecues, and weekends down the ocean. An exciting time for teens. The most recent Maryland Safe and Supportive School Survey shows that 3/4 of Annapolis high school students said it was fairly or very easy for students in their grade to get alcohol. Underage drinking and binge drinking is very real in Annapolis. If you give them access to alcohol, you're not cool, but you are liable for the outcome. Create a safe environment for your teens and their friends this prom season. If they need to talk, listen. If you need to talk, we'll listen. We're here for you and your children. We're ASAP, Annapolis Substance Abuse Prevention. ASAP facilitates healthy community change, prevents and reduces binge drinking, underage drinking, and alcohol-related auto crashes among youth and young adults through locally led collaborations and evidence-based prevention strategies. Visit us at preventsubstanceabuse.org. This message is supported by SAMHSA and the Maryland Behavioral Health Administration.
This is Trevor from Annapolis Makerspace with this week's Maker Minutes. Registration is open for the National Electronics Museum's Pioneer Camp for ages 8 to 11. The first session is July 18th and 19th. The second session is August 8th and 9th. Pioneer Camp is a 2-day summer camp held twice each summer. Same program for both sessions. This year's Pioneer Camp is space-themed. Campers learn about satellites, telescopes, stars, space travel, and more. Campers will make their own telescopes and model planets. Starting this Sunday and running for a week, the Maryland Federation of Art is hosting the 14th Annual Paint Annapolis Day which is a juried plein air painting competition that brings outdoor painters from around the world. This also coincides with Annapolis Arts Week, which starts tomorrow and runs through the 10th down at the City Dock, encompassing a wide range of artistic creativity in Annapolis, including events at art galleries, musicians, and performing arts studios. There's a couple of things happening this weekend. Both Saturday and Sunday, there's the Naval Air Station Patuxent River Air Expo, which is free family fun, including aerial acrobatic performances, exhibits, foods, and kids' activities. Performances include the Blue Angels, the Geico Skytypers, Shockwave Jet Truck, and more. Also this weekend is Baltimore Clay Works' Seconds Sale, your chance to shop from hundreds of pieces of pottery, sculpture, and ceramic objects, handmade by local artists at discounted prices. The event includes food trucks as well as beer and wine vendors. Also, both Saturday and Sunday is the Frederick Festival of the Arts, a juried 2-day regional celebration of the arts, including hundreds of professional artists from over 20 states. This Sunday at the Benjamin Banneker Museum in Ellicott City is a papermaking class. Create your own paper from recycled natural materials, with materials provided. Dress for making a mess, and pre-registration is required. Tonight at Greenbelt Makerspace is a JavaScript workshop. They'll be utilizing Khan Academy's Intro to JavaScript drawing and animation course, and they'll guide you through the entire process. This Sunday in Annapolis is June's first Sunday Arts Festival, and Annapolis Makerspace will have a table there, so come on by and see what's going on. And Tuesday night at Annapolis Makerspace is the monthly Fusion 360 workshop with Russ. If you ever wanted to learn anything about 3D design using Fusion 360, come on by. And as a reminder that Annapolis Makerspace has moved. Our old location on Hudson Street is closed, but we have a new location at 2014 Renard Court, Unit C, just up the street from Annapolis Bowl and Annapolis Mall. And I'll be posting links to these events on the Annapolis Makerspace website at makeannapolis.org sometime today. Whether you're making art, software, sawdust, or just a mess, chances are you're already a maker. This has been Trevor from Annapolis Makerspace with this week's Maker Minutes.
Thanks for listening to the Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief. If you like what you heard, make sure to tell your friends and colleagues about it. And also tell them about our website, eyeonannapolis.net, where you can find much more. Be sure to check out our other weekly podcast, The Maryland Crabs. This podcast comes to you every Monday through Friday at 7 a.m. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.